could you please update the laundry area? It's been this way since we moved in. I'll do it when I want. And she just asked me to do it, so I guess I'm doing it now. But they always say check the dryer for... Oh. Looks like we got a budget. Let's go. Yes. Ugh. All right, so off camera, I went ahead and started clearing out some of the closet. But what we need to do now is take down this wire rack. So let's get started. Hi, son. How was your day today?
Good.
How would you like to have the opportunity of turning your day from good to great?
Sure.
Come on in. I just need your help. These new ones are so heavy that I can't pull it back. So see if you can, from the top, push towards me. Okay, we gotta push hard. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, so we got the washing machine out, and the dryer I'm actually going to leave connected for now. This is a gas unit, and I don't want to have to disconnect it and connect it back and forth if I don't need to. There is some room for me to pull away from the wall to be able to work on it. So I will be doing that later. But one other thing I just wanted to address, if you saw it already, is like these panels that are here. Back here is just some Plex and some electrical. Now, there's no fittings in here. There's no electrical boxes, nothing that you would really need to access. So I'm not sure why they made this accessible. But what I'm going to do is maybe I just don't know enough about what needs to be done with this. I'm actually going to replace these boards. These are melamine. You can't paint these. If you paint them, they're just going to chip right off. But first, what we're going to move to is this wall. So for that back wall, we're going with a shiplap look. Now I'm using, this is 1/2-inch plywood. This is the sanded plywood. It's not like birch or anything like that, so it's not too expensive. I found this to be the cheapest way to mimic shiplap. And if you watch my living room video, I'll put a card up here. What I did was I cut strips from plywood, and I used real thin 1/8-inch plywood for this. And I wanted to go a little bit different with this. So I got 1/2-inch plywood, and what I'm doing is I'm not actually cutting strips. I'm making grooves. I'm making lines in the board. So that way I can still put it up as one sheet. I think it's gonna go a lot quicker that way. So what I'm gonna be using is this Craig rib cut jig. And you just attach a circular saw to it. The edge of the jig, it rides on the edge of the plywood. And you can move this to wherever you need to, and it's just gonna get you a nice straight cut. All right, so the boss has picked out her favorite look. So what we're going with is, I'm using this Varathane wood stain. That's their one coat stuff. This is midnight blue, although it looks kind of gray to me, but that's what it is. So what I do to get the look I wanted, I took my stain and I flooded it on, okay? And I let it sit because I wanted it dark. I wanted that base coat to be dark. I let it sit for about 5-10 minutes, somewhere in there, and then I wipe away the excess. That way it dries a little faster. Then I'm using a whitewash on top. And to make our whitewash, I'm just using a plain interior white paint. I'm gonna add a little bit more. The ratios are really up to you. I'm using probably like a 2-to-1. So 2 parts paint and then 1 part water. I like it pretty watery. Again, once the stain dries, I'm putting this on and I'm just like rubbing it on and then wiping it off to get the look I want.
You know, if I did some sit-ups in the morning or bent over like this, I'd probably feel 100% better. Moon River. Whew. Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
Panel's all stained. Let them dry overnight. And let's get the whitewash down. I'm getting ready to put up the first panel on this wall here. Before I do that, I went ahead and found the studs and I marked each one. I made sure that I had marks below where I'm gonna be putting the panel so that I could still see the marks. I wanna be able to just put the panel up, find my mark here, and I actually, you won't be able to see it, but I made a tiny little dot on the ceiling as well. So basically, when I put the panel up, I'll know exactly where the studs are in line and I can shoot the nails. I'm not using adhesive. If you ever use a whole wall like this full of adhesive, put a panel up, there is gonna be a day where you wanna take it down, I promise. And if you do that with a whole wall of adhesive, you'll regret it. Hey, I could use your help.
Okay.
Watch the gas line. Yep. Get it all the way in. Can you get it in there? Is it gonna fit?
Just here.
All right. We're gonna go all the way up to the ceiling now. So start lifting it up. There we go. Hold on, my finger's in there.
Oh.
Okay. All right, just give it a few taps. Make sure it's in a good spot. I'm trying to get it so that it goes into.
Thing inside?
Yeah. Helps hide it. Awesome.
Alright, so that should be in there now?
Yeah, now I'm just gonna run a few more in. Thanks for your help.
Anything else, or is that it?
That's good. I'll need your help with the second board, but not right now.
Okay.
Now I gotta map out for all this stuff on the wall and make sure I get all the measurements right so I could cut it out of the new piece.
What do we think our chances are here?
Probably decent, I guess.
You gotta lower your end. You think it's decent? Can you get by that piece of wood? Nice. Okay.
I just want to make sure you're all set.
I just want to make sure we don't disturb that gas line. Okay, do you see what you got to do with that hole? And then it's going to slide down on it like that.
I installed 1/2-inch spacers for all the outlets on the wall since the plywood comes out that much further. You got it. Dimensional lumber for our shelves. Nice and simple, still looks great. And for this cut, remember, you don't need a fancy miter saw. You just need a speed square and a skill saw. And of course, the other thing you want to remember is setting your blade to the correct depth. That also helps. And you're going to see me use this pre-stain a lot in this video. It really helps, especially on pine. You don't want any blotching when you're applying stain. This just helps even everything out.
I've let this dry for about 10 minutes. The instructions say 5 to 15, so I went in the middle because 15 minutes, who's got time for that, right? So I went ahead and, you know, you might be thinking to yourself, this is a pre-stain wax, and what I'm doing is a whitewash, which is just paint and water. But on the samples, it just looked better. It went into the grains a little bit easier, so I still think the properties that this uses for stain kind of works with what we're doing here with a whitewash. As you can see, we're in the workshop now. We had some bad weather rolling. These whitewash shelves are going to get used daily, and I don't trust the whitewash to hold up on putting things on and off just all the time. So I'm going to go ahead and put on some polyurethane. Since it's bad weather, I had to do this inside. And since I'm doing it inside, this stuff can give off some good fumes. So make sure you have a door and windows and a fan rolling. I'm going to go ahead and use this 3M respirator. This thing is awesome. I'll put a link down in the description. Let's get to it.
Time for another episode of Just a Tip. Anytime you're working with solvents, don't take your rags, roll them up, and put them in the trash. They'll spontaneously combust. Separate them, put them outside, let them dry up.
Wax on, wax off. Don't forget to breathe. Very important.
For the sidewalls, the original plan was to paint these, but we've actually switched to, you guessed it, wallpaper. Yeah, we're going to put a patterned wallpaper up here just to give it a little pop, something different from what the back is.
I've never done this before, so wish me luck. Something tells me I should probably get something to stand on. right, so finally got it all installed. Next is I'm gonna put some trim that's gonna go up the sides here, along the top, and then down.
I wanted to give another example of how you can do this project with very minimal tools. Now this is the trim I'm using. It's 1/4 inch round, and you can cut this with just a circular saw. It's a little tricky, but you can do it. Grab yourself a speed square, and there's angles on it. So find your 45 degree, and then make your cut. Of course, if you have a miter saw, it's just a lot quicker. And I wanted to make sure to show this. Since we have the 1/4 round trim in the corners, I did have to notch out the shelves just a little bit so it can fit against the wall.
Being gringo.
You all right?
Being really dangly. Should we move this onto the table more? Because this
Just
is
so you know, I've been recording.
Of course you have.
You ready?
Alright.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Let me get a battery. Yeah.
Oh.
This is going to be the top. This is going to sit on both of the washer and dryer machines. Give basically a place to fold laundry, things like that. But I don't like, obviously, I don't like the edge of plywood. So what I'm doing is I'm using, this is actually a scrap piece, but this is just 1x material. I think it was a 1x3, and I basically just ripped it in half, so it's about 1.5 inches, just under that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to build up the edge just so it like kind of like looks a little bit meatier. So it has like 1.5 inches when you're looking at it from the side. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this down. I only need it on 2 sides. The rest of it is covered by the wall. So let's cut this down. I got my front piece with the miter. I got my side piece with the miter. Sanded both of these down. These are both ready to get stained. Didn't quite get that miter as tight as I would have liked to, so we have a fix for that. Wood glue and sawdust. Ugh. grabbed a wet rag and wiped everything down to get rid of all the sawdust. Now I'm going to put on some of this pre-stain before I hit it with the whitewash. The whitewash is nice and dry. I went ahead and hit it up with some 220 sandpaper just really lightly to get the rough spots down. Now I'm going to put on some poly. So I picked up a motion detecting light. I want to install up on the ceiling here to give this area a little bit more light. I grabbed this on Amazon. I'll leave a link down below if you're interested. There'll be a few other links down there for other products I've used throughout the video, but let's get this installed. I'll apologize now for the angle, but it's pretty tight back here. The last thing we need to install is this hanger system. It's an articulating arm. It basically allows you to hang wet clothes on it to let them air dry instead of putting them in the dryer. Let's get it in. All right, well that wraps up the laundry area. I love the way this came out. I love the custom back with the wood and the stain. With the wallpaper, it just really makes it pop. I'll be interested to see how long these white tops hold out for. I put a lot of coats of poly in here, so that hopefully that'll help. The hardware for the shelves, super simple. Really, really cool stuff. And this, kind of cool. Anyway, so we're gonna be doing the rest of this bathroom renovation. You guys gotta let me know if that's something you want to see. We're gonna be changing out the trim to help it all match this new area. Let me know down in the comments below if that's something you'd like to see. Otherwise, we'll see you in the next one. You can, actually, if you want to watch the living room renovation series I did, I actually shiplap on that wall. I gotta start that over again because it sounds like I said
What the dog doing? Oh, are you recording?
Yeah.
Can you redo that?
No.